Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Gerri Miller, and welcome to the Monday Market Monitor. We're live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. It's great to connect with you guys through this platform. If you'd like to participate in the show, just leave your thoughts and your comments in the comment section on any social media platform you're watching the show upon, and we will relay the thoughts to a panel of talented proportions. Of course, the Monday Market Monitor is brought to you by Closure Title and Insurance, also by Ally Property Management, and presented by Yes Realty Partners. Judah Wickower, if we could go to the studio camera first. We have Keith Smith, we have Gerri Russell, and we have Katelyn Mancini on set. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Minnie.
And
Minnie the dog.
Minnie the dog.
For those that are listening in their cars, Katelyn Mancini has brought her fabulous dog, Minnie, who is undoubtedly part of her branding profile.
Yes, part of the brand, yeah.
On the business cards. Doesn't she have her own business card?
She doesn't have her own, but she is, yes, she's on the business card and she shares.
She shares.
It's a
I believe she deserves her own business card.
She could, actually. We'll just get her like a little holder off her
Little
collar or something.
little paw print on it.
We're going to talk trends and some of the stats here in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Before we do, let's introduce our panel. Gerri, the show is yours. What makes you tick, Gerri Russell?
And what firm you with?
I'm Gerri Russell, and I'm with Avenue Realty in Charlottesville, and I do a lot of farms and estates and country properties, and I'm a big animal lover.
Very nice.
I have 16 animals at home.
16? Mm-hmm. Give us the breakdown of that.
All shapes and sizes.
I have 3 dogs, 4 goats, 3 horses, let's see, 2 sheep, 2 cats.
Wow. Did you know that?
I did.
What's the most misbehaved animal you have?
My Australian Shepherd.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of energy.
I bet he's super smart.
Very smart. That's
I thought you were going to
problem.
say the two-legged male, but...
No, I don't have one of those.
See, there you go. You're a smart lady.
No, I've just got all the 4-leggeds, and they're all spayed and neutered.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Well, that's what we wanted to talk today. We're going to talk a little farms and estates, and I couldn't think of anybody better than Gerri to do that because that's clearly a little bit out of my wheelhouse. And you're also on the SPCA, Fulvana SPCA board with my wife.
I am. I used to be the president, and now I'm just the treasurer.
There you go. Well, that's an important role. Keep
It's
a track
very
of the money.
important. They won't let me go.
They won't let you go.
Thank you for your service.
Well, I enjoy it.
Katelyn.
So Gerri actually recruited me years ago for the Fulvana SPCA board, and they call me the president now. I like to just say I'm a board member, but not to discredit the treasurer. She's the money lady. We need her.
The president's an important role.
The president is an important role. I really enjoy it. I love giving back. So I'm Katelyn Mancini with Howard Hanna, Roy Wheeler Realty, and so that's my full-time job. Minnie is a part of my brand, and we do real estate full-time and volunteer and do a lot of stuff around the community. So
Ride horses.
I also ride as well. Yeah.
And tell about the good news from this weekend.
Oh, it was awesome. So I showed probably for the first time in probably 10 or 12 years. And it was a great show at Millington out in Free Union. Beautiful area. It was a gorgeous day. And I was the winner.
Congratulations. Let's give her the round of applause.
Thank you.
Very nice.
I don't know.
Little sound effect for you,
I
Katelyn
like
Mancini.
it. Well, I had an awesome horse, and everybody who cheered me on. My 96-year-old grandmother was there to cheer me on as well.
And your
which
mom.
was really special, and my mom, my number 1 fan. Thanks, Mom.
Well, yeah, number 2 fan, I think, is in your lap.
Human fan, maybe.
Oh, human fan.
Cheerleader.
A
Yeah.
cheerleader.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to talk a little bit, when we get to chatting a little bit, we talk about the urban ring all the time on the show. We're going to talk a little bit the Rio Road, Dunlora area, which you have some specialties in. So,
Definitely.
But before we do that, I usually kick off Monday's show kind of talking about what has just happened in the last week and kind of compare it to some weeks before. And a little interesting trend popped up when I took a look at it this morning. For those who are new to the show or listening to the show, we do what we call a Monday Market Monitor. We have a market monitor as part of our MLS system, and I keep it for 7 days. So in our car footprint in the last week, we had 61 new homes come on the market, become active, but we had 100 go into pending. And that's kind of going the opposite direction we've been talking about for quite some time. I could tell you a month ago we were on par. We had the same amount of homes become active and for the same week as to go into pending. So Before we get into the micro markets on it, any thoughts on what you think is happening out there in the market? And either one of you fine ladies can jump in first.
Well, it's definitely, I think, in some ways slowing down. We just can't, people just don't want to sell. That's
So it's slowing down with people
slowing
wanting
down
to put houses on
put
the
their houses
market.
on the market. Yeah, and it's been that trend for a while, but I think we're really starting to see more of that slowdown. And if something, it used to be that you'll know what the market thinks of your house within 30 days, you'll know now within 7.
Oh, yeah.
If you're not under contract within the first 2 weeks,
Something's wrong.
something's wrong.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that a lot of people are in the position of, and hopefully there's a lot of buyers out there that are going to shake their head. We understand. Where are they going to go? You sell,
There's nowhere to go.
and either, right, they're not going to be competitive with putting in a bid, putting in a contract on a new home, having a home to sell, having what we call a home sale contingency, a part of a bid, or one of the strategies, you could do a rent back. So sellers staying in their houses after they sell, proceeds in pocket, staying in their house for an extended period of time post-closing to be able to find their next destination or where they want to go. But
How
again,
many deals have you done like that?
that is a tricky, it's a strategy
very-
that works.
It does.
But
Slippery
I would
slope.
say this year, slippery slope. I'd say I've done 3 this year so far, and one in the radar.
We just did 2 this weekend. Literally 2 this weekend on transactions that we put on the market, and the sellers already put contracts in on other properties, and we got 2 contracts putting in, and we put in this seller a possession agreement. For those who are listening or watching, that's simply the seller sells the home, receives the cash that they may have for that, and then they rent it back for a period of time. In these 2 cases, they were 60 days, which gives them an opportunity to close on their other homes, right? Move, which is a huge thing these days, right? Are you guys running into any issues with movers and stuff on some of your listings that you're selling? Like your sellers being able to actually find a mover to move
It's
them?
been a little challenging for a few people, and then the prices are just high.
Outrageous.
Unbelievably high.
And that's
Cross
something that
country, even local, anyway. Yeah.
it's not talked about too much, but that's a little difficult. So I know nothing about estates and horses and land and stuff. So tell me, if I'm a buyer, how do I start through this process?
Well, when I start with a buyer, I'm going to ask you what you need that land for. A lot of people, I've seen more recently, people want to farm their land. They're not just doing it for horses, but they actually want to farm. A lot of people are getting into sustainable living. But horse people are unique, and they want it a certain way. So we have to find out what discipline they're doing for riding, how many horses they have. Roughly, in the general rule of thumb is 2 acres per horse, because you need to rotate these horses.
I didn't know that.
You need to rotate them because horses can make a mess of fields, and you need to give fields a
They're
chance
good
to
grass
breathe.
cutters. They're
very-
the lawn mowers.
Yeah, they are. So it's just down to that. I mean, some people want certain fencing. And I've had people nowadays where they just will build. I've had several buyers that just got so frustrated because they couldn't find. They're just going to build, and they'll
So
start from
what
scratch.
does that actually mean? That they find land and
They find
create
land
their
and
own?
start create
Really?
their own. And sometimes you'll get people that come in and they hate what's there. Like the barn's not good enough, the fencing's not good enough. I had one last year where they bought it, paid a premium price for it, and took the whole barn down and started over. So there's a lot of high end out there. The hard thing to find is the average horse person that has a budget, say $400,000. Everybody wants those. So if it's on the market, you're competing with offers, and it's going to go quick.
So you're seeing at that price point, are you also competing with non-horse buyers, right? I would imagine at
Yeah.
that price point. That's interesting.
I mean, I personally would love to get more land, have more land, and move. And I could get a really good price for my farm right now, but I can't find anything.
Whereabouts is your farm?
I'm in Fluvanna,
Okay.
down near Fork Union, and I love it there because I have plenty of places to ride, which I'm a trail rider, and that's what makes me tick. But you know, I even show in Goochland and look for properties in Goochland for people because people are moving further out. It's the only way to get anything.
So you listed all, I think you had said 16 animals? How many animals do you have?
16, I think.
Yeah, so tell me how your morning starts.
Coffee, lots
Well,
of coffee.
okay.
2 cups of coffee. I feed the inside people first, put the coffee on, let the dogs out again, and then I do some work, and then I go out and I feed all the people. It's just a routine.
So how long does that take you?
Half hour inside, half hour outside.
There you
Depends.
go.
It's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
I've got it down,
You
and
got
I
it down.
water, and I'm watering plants and things while I'm feeding.
Good for you.
So I have a routine, a rhythm, and every now and then somebody throws a wrench into it, and it takes longer than was supposed to. And yesterday I was fortunate enough to have a few hours to get out on the tractor and bush hog fields. I enjoy my tractor.
And you're a young lady from Jersey, if I
I
remember.
am. I'm kind of a city girl from Jersey.
Yeah, what, North Jersey, South Jersey?
South Jersey.
South
I'm the South Jersey.
South Jersey. Well, South Jersey's pretty rural.
It is. When I left, I had just 4 acres of woods, but it was boonies for my family, and nobody wanted to drive the 30 minutes from where I to come visit, and that was what drew me down to Charlottesville. I wanted more land and more animals. When I came here, I had 1 dog. Now look at me.
So I'm writing questions. I think I have some more for
We need to go trail riding together.
Uh-huh.
I grew up horse showing, so totally different dynamic and look. But now, like you were saying, with buyers looking for farms, what you call ride outs are important to people.
It is
you know,
very
that
important.
you can ride from
People
your
don't
farm.
want a
You want
trailer all the time.
Yeah.
And I have the best of both. I have 2 horses at home, and I have 300 acres off. That's not mine, that I have permission to ride on from my
Nice.
property, which was an extra
nice.
bonus when I moved there. And then I have 1 horse that I boarded a friend's place, and she has miles and miles of trails. So
Very nice.
So
Good to know people.
Caitlin, urban ring,
Yeah.
right? So for those who are listening who are not familiar with the term around Charlottesville, 5% of the land that surrounds the city of Charlottesville, which is only 10 square miles, is the urban ring.
Albemarle County is 700 square miles.
Oh, you...
Ish?
I
I'll
believe-
look that up.
Think? Is that
I-
it? See how?
Caitlin, I would never doubt you, so I will take that as
See if
gospel.
that's somewhat close.
I will take that as gospel. But, you know, there's certain sections out around that I'd like to talk a little bit about that market. You know, Dunlore or the Ryle Road area, which is in this urban ring, in that end of it. So talk a little bit about that market from your perspective. You know, how's it looking? Lack of inventory?
Sure.
What can you share with us?
I really think a lot of buyers are loving that it is central. So you're 2 miles north of the downtown mall. You're a hop, skip, and a jump to the 29 Seminole Trail corridor. Dunlora has been around it's probably one of the oldest neighborhoods in that area. There are no active listings specifically there today. There are 4 pending properties. The average days of market, any guesses?
And Dunlora?
2.
6?
7 days.
7
Okay.
days.
Yep. And in the last 6 months, there's been 12 sales of an average price point of $577. So
Wow.
That's not bad.
It's not for the area and for the size of the lot that you're getting and home. So I didn't look up. I would say a little less than half an acre, probably a third of an acre, maybe.
Yeah, they actually have a little land with them. It's about a third of an acre, if I remember.
They're a
little
more
remember-
private.
remember
They're
A
correctly.
little more private, more mature trees. You go down the road to a newer community, newer neighborhood called Lachlan Hill. There is 1 active listing there, and for a starting price, brand new construction of $605,000, you're getting around 2,000 square feet. So,
We've got a couple of clients building in there. That number's a little north of that.
just for the starting price of that
Oh, yeah,
active.
they're
yeah.
starting at about 8 now over there. The numbers climbed that much.
It's beautiful, but you are on a much smaller
Oh,
footprint of land. Things are more vertical than horizontal. There's 13
Interesting
under
fact
contract.
about that is half of that's in Albemarle County, half of that's in Charlottesville. We might
Yep.
want to talk about that. Most people do not know.
They don't know that, and your neighbor. So if they're looking with families and they're saying, "Oh, I want my kids to go to the same school as," it could be one street away from their kids going to the city schools versus county schools. Yep, I've had a
She's
couple.
right,
listings.
605, active listing, Lachlan Hill.
Yeah, it's I think a starting price that may be an unfinished basement. That's Arcadia Builders, great builder to work with. So in the eights, really?
We have a couple
Belvedere's.
new constructions that started in
Wow. Well, they're custom and semi-custom, so you can really
and
go
they are
any.
on the Charlottesville side of the project on that stuff.
They average
same builder, by the way.
756, so
Yeah.
you get around 2,700
Well,
square feet there.
the thing about that is they started in the 6, but by the time they
They're
finished
done.
with their
Yeah.
designs and so forth and so on, they were in the
That's a-
they were in the 8s.
Yep.
So I mean,
Neil Williamson's got answers to to your question. Free Enterprise Forum president. He says, from the Free Enterprise Forum, local government spending report, Albemarle County has a landmass of 722 square miles.
There you go.
Experienced an average annual rate of increase in inflation-adjusted operating expenditures of 2.51% in the study period from 2000 to 2020. That's the thing with this show is
Thanks, Neil.
folks are going to hold you accountable. Neil Williamson, great
Love it. I
comment
love
right
Neil.
there. I love Neil too.
Yeah.
Nicholas Erpy says that dog is the cutest.
Oh, she
Love
says
the
thank you.
guests, especially the 2- and 4-legged guests. Should we see Minnie? Can we do a close-up of Minnie, Judah, of some
Do I
kind?
need to do this? I don't know.
Multiple folks are asking about your dog right there.
Thank you. I don't know what the keyword is to get her ears to go up, but maybe, what do you see?
Is Minnie awake?
What? Are you there? Do you want me to put you down? She's like, I haven't
Treat.
had my coffee. Do you want
Treat.
What do you think that's
There you
She
go.
looks very calm, doesn't she?
there goes the
Tail
tail.
wags, and there goes
There
the
goes
tail.
the tail. Well, there's
We're
a
animal people around here.
So there's a box
We
of
are.
treats over there that I treat Liza to. So
Yes.
she just Liza just heard it on that stuff. Hello, how you doing? Haven't seen you in forever.
I know.
How you doing?
You said thank you.
One of the things what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get out some good information about these micro markets, and we're going in here. So I'm going to kind of try to let you two ladies take it any path that you would like to take it on. But Gerri, from the farms and estates perspective, what information can you share to the folks listening and watching that can help them through this process, help them understand that market? Because I really can't, because I can't articulate it. So I'm looking for you to help me do that.
I think you have to be patient and be flexible with where you want to be and what you want to buy. The price points are all over the place. I have a lot of people that really want the mountain views. They want water. They want it all.
Sure.
And you might have to go further out of Albemarle to get it.
I was just going to say that we talk about drive till we qualify all the time from the general what I would call retail real estate, for lack of a better term, on that end of it, and we've now coined the term, was it fly till we qualify?
Fly to qualify.
We qualify
Right.
because people are coming from Harrisonburg and all this stuff. So is that what you're seeing also?
Yeah.
Right.
The market over the mountain has been great. I mean, there's more properties over there, farm properties, that are coming on the market.
So I looked at that this morning and crunched the numbers. So let's talk about the Augusta on the other side of the mountain. Can we find something at that price point you were talking about earlier?
It's still far and few between. But you can get more for your money over there.
Got it.
You can
So
get
maybe
more
not
for
at the
your
price point we were talking about, but not millions, maybe something in the middle?
Yeah, you can do the middle. You can do the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
And Madison County is another beautiful county that things
North
have
of
been
town.
going quick. A couple 100-acre farms down to 6 acres.
So I know enough about you, Gerri, because we've known each other for a very long time. It sounds like to me, if I'm in that market, you're the perfect person because you're capable or willing.
I go everywhere.
About to say.
And I know all the counties very well.
So let's talk a little bit about that. How many different counties you work in?
Well, I've been selling real estate. I actually started at Roy Wheeler, but 22 years now. I think I'm going on my 22nd year, and I go as far usually as Rappahannock County I'll go as far as Henrico County, and I'll go as south. I have gone as far south as Farmville, and I'll go over to far as Lexington.
Man, that's
So-
a heck of a footprint.
It is. My poor cars. I have so many miles on my cars. I live to drive, it feels like.
That's impressive.
But you have to, because especially people coming not from this area, they don't know. And they need to see what they can get for their money. And it's just a question of, where are you willing to go? I still have a lot of people that want to be in that 30 minutes, 20 minutes,
But the price tag is
Right.
But
Good
the
luck
price
with that.
tag is very high.
That comment is coming in now from Kelsey. So why don't we throw one more to Gerri, and then let's get Katelyn Mancini in the mix. And Katelyn,
Sure.
you got folks in Massachusetts giving you some props right now. Is it Cindy Mangello? Am I saying that right?
Cindy Manganello.
Yeah, she says mini heart emoji. Benjamin Myrtle, hello, welcome to the show. He's giving you props. Linda Brown, Krista Rodder's giving you some props as well. So this is from Kelsey. The farms that are closer to Charlottesville, the ones down Barracks and Free Union and Keswick, what are the price tags of those, starting price point? I know they can be tens and tens of millions of dollars, but what are the starting price points, Gerri?
Actually, there are a few that started at 8 to 9, and then they go all the way up to 12 million.
So that's 8 to 9 million.
No,
No,
actually,
8 to
you can get
900,000.
8 to 900,000 for a basic,
Like a
Right.
farmette.
a farmette.
Yeah,
I'm co-listing one right now for 1.2, I think we are, on 22 acres, beautiful, at Baxter Farmington Hunt Club.
Nice.
On Free Union Road, so
Nice.
you're 35 minutes from town.
And it will go. It will-
Yeah, it's a
it
beautiful
will-
piece
So
of land.
Katelyn, I can't talk about the address and location, but you can if you would like. You can go talk about that.
Oh, on the spot, it's Free Union Road. I don't know the house number.
It's coming, call her.
It's on the market.
This is really simple.
I'm like-
Just call Caitlin and they'll be all
There you
taken
go.
care of.
I'm a part of it. Just, give me a call. I can give you more information.
Sorry about putting you on the spot.
Give me a
like that.
call and I can help you.
There you go. Call these two
I can
ladies
help you
and they'll
buy it.
figure it out.
So we're looking up the properties now. Is that on the market right now, Caitlin?
It is. Free Union Road, 22-ish acres. I'm co-listing with Jim McVeigh.
Fantastic. 5904 Free Union Road. 5 bedrooms.
I knew it started with a 5.
5 bedrooms, 5.5 baths, 5,000 square feet, and it is beautiful.
Yep. It
It's
has a
a beautiful
two-stall
property.
barn, blue sand ring, or a bluestone ring, and
So what does that mean?
that means that it's not grass.
So that's
You
where
have
the
some
horses
footing.
go around.
It's
Got it.
good, it's the normal
footing.
footing.
Again, the circle I've ever gone on a horse is in a merry-go-round. Okay.
Okay,
Mechanical up and
Up and
got
down,
it.
that's right. And if you were lucky and you could find a quarter somewhere laying around, you can get in the horse in front of the candy store. But
and how much is fenced and,
Good question. So you drive up this beautiful driveway, and on either side are fence paddocks with automatic waters, and I'd say you're going to have plus or minus 10 to 15 acres maybe that
Okay.
are, and
That's good.
it's backing right to Farmington Hunt, which is so nice. So the ride outs out in
beautiful.
Farmington is such a beautiful area.
but get permission.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. You can actually hear the hounds, and it just not overwhelming, but the
Yeah.
kennels from where you are, it's kind of neat. Versus road noise, you get a little bit outside the urban ring, 35 minutes, and you hear the flow of river maybe down in your backyard, or
Is there
the
water on the
hounds.
property?
You can go down to a river. I don't think it might back right to
Meacham?
part of the Meacham.
so back,
Jerry Russell, you got some experience over there. You're
Yeah, I
asking
do.
all
I
the
used
right
to live
questions.
over there.
when I thought of farms and estates, Jerry Russell was the top of my list. If I ever have a client for farms and estates, it's Jerry. Here you go, help me out, because that's way out of my depth. I can talk urban ring, I can talk all this other stuff, but that I can't talk. So let's go back to the urban ring. What is it going to take to open up this market a little bit, Caitlin? What is it going to take to
Can't say more inventory.
Yeah.
That's the easy
More
answer. I
inventory?
can't say that.
Yeah. Well, let me rephrase the question. What is it going to take to get more inventory on it? I mean, my God, in 1 week we only had 61 new homes come on the market,
That's
and
not
100
enough.
went off. That's almost 40
It's not enough.
upside down. So
I
what-
hate to say it, but new construction is coming left and right.
And there's 5, I know in Belvedere, they just, Southern Development just opened up another section.
Another section.
But they're the townhouses.
Yep.
And then
or attached villas of some sort. You're going to share a wall.
Gibson is doing 5 single-family homes coming up, and they start at 800.
So what, we constantly talk about this all the time. New inventory, new inventory, new inventory. Inventory is meaning new homes, new lots.
Right.
On that end of it, we talk about turning red tape into green tape all the time. I think from your professional perspective, not trying to geek out on development requirements, maybe what can you have a conversation with the client to help them make the decision to put their home on the market, right? We just started a conversation earlier saying that, they don't want to put their home on the market because they don't want to go. So let's talk through this conversation live.
Yeah.
Katelyn, what do you think?
Well, one of the things, and it's kind of a natural just progression in life, is that people are empty nesters and they're moving on to the next phase of either down to single family living or out of the area to
Be closer to family.
family. Exactly. Yep. So I have a property coming soon. I can't reveal it yet, but in Key West, and the seller's moving out of state, closer to family.
It's a great neighborhood.
Great neighborhood, single family.
Great location.
Beautiful lot.
Been
yeah.
around for a long time.
It's been around, exactly. We were talking a little bit HOAs versus non-HOAs, and that is not an HOA community. So it's a neighborhood, no HOA. However, you can become a member of the Key West Swim Club
Yep.
there, and you pay a fee. So, opening up the inventory is, I hate to say it, and I'm sure I've seen your show so many times that you talk new construction, but truthfully, it's if new construction
It's
is
supply and demand, right?
right. That's the only thing that's you're turning dirt into homes versus
And I've
turnover.
had several people
resale.
sell to take advantage of the market, and they want a specific property in town because they want that lifestyle, and they're renting.
Yeah.
Until
Yep.
they can, and the challenge is when they see something, there's 25 to 30 other people that want it too, so you're still in that multiple offer situation. And how do you win?
How many of your clients have done that? Sold their home and then rented for a year?
I've had quite a few.
Yeah? You too?
I have, and it's hard because then they're saying, well, rentals go so quickly. Where do I go to find a rental?
That's exactly right.
Not that we want to, divert their, but even
Well, it's
rentals are in
hand in hand. You
are
can't
in
go
high
one
demand.
without the other.
Are you facilitating the rental deals along with the sales of their home?
I'm not.
I
I'm not.
can once, I will, depending on the client, but I tend to stay away from it. And I have a few,
Even though it's contingent on the sale of the home?
I'll help them. I will definitely help them.
Yeah,
So,
I would hand them to an expert if I am not a part of, being able to find the rental.
It's,
but
the challenge sometimes is who has the rental listings. They don't really want our help. So I've run into that. I've run into some walls, and then I'll just turn them over, my client over to them.
So what we do, trusted advisors, that's what we are. Trusted, and we're always the source of the source, right?
Correct.
In our case, we do not do rentals, and we hand them off to Ally, who will helps us with this, because I can't. And so what we do is we hand it off to somebody who's a source of a trusted advisor. That while we work on the house sale portion of it, but I can tell you of the dozens and dozens of deals we've done so far this year, quite a few of them will sell and rent. Then you have to have this awkward conversation about moving twice,
Yeah.
right? So
And some people, they're okay with it.
Sure.
It depends.
they're just taking advantage of that seller's market right now, and they'll make it work. The expense of moving or the headache of moving.
Yeah.
So, other than the obvious of more inventory, what else can we do? What else can we do to help motivate sellers to sell? What tools do we have in our toolbox?
I go on a hunt for what they're looking for.
Okay.
And try to open doors to find, like, if somebody wants a specific area or specific neighborhood, I will start sending letters, and I will try and go out and meet people.
To the actual homeowners? Wow.
So we call that farming,
We call that farming.
says the young lady who has a farm.
Yes.
we call that.
We call that farming. I mean, you have to start beating down doors to try and generate it.
Yeah, you never know who you might reach via letter. Like, I have a buyer, list their criteria.
Where I'm at, I've had 3 realtors, 2 twice it was the same one. The second time it was a different one. Literally knock on my door.
Sure.
We used to do
And
that a
say,
long time ago.
Do you want to sell your home? We will offer you this, all cash, short close.
Man.
Literally. And I'm sitting there in my my boxers and a tank top, like, what's going on here? Knocking on your door.
I get those calls all the time, and it's like, I'm sorry, I'm a realtor, but, good luck.
I've
Well,
actually gone and expanded it to withdrawn listings, not necessarily expired, but
Yeah.
going to the listing agent of a withdrawn listing and just saying, or perhaps you knew that it was on the market and for some reason it didn't sell, price, whatever it may be. And it's just another strategy that I'm doing that currently for a client right now. And they're considering, they saw it a long time ago and kind of just stayed on their radar, and you never know.
So I'm holding an iPhone in my hand. So at the end of the day, this is a great tool. It helps people figure out what's out in the market. But where I was trying to go with this, trying to help the seller make a decision, we as real estate agents, we as trusted advisors, we as source of the source, we invest our time, our own in the seller. What do you need? What can we do to help you? There are options, and you sit around at a coffee table or a kitchen table, and you have a cup of coffee, and you talk it through, and you talk through the options of trying to help folks make this decision, because it's a scary. It's
Very
a scary
scary.
thing, right? And I come from a very personal perspective because we are empty nesters, so I know what that is, what that feels like to be in that part of that seat. But I just want folks who's listening and watching to understand there are solutions. You just need to bring a trusted advisor to the table. The iPhone will get you, hey, what's out there, right? Or whatever it thinks your house is worth. But until you bring a trusted advisor to the table to help you navigate that, you're just kind of swimming in a pool a little bit. We can help you
and
get there.
we all work together, so
That's
there's
exactly
a
true.
lot of things, behind the scenes that a seller doesn't see or a buyer doesn't understand. And, as agents, our goal is to help our clients. That's our first priority. What can we do to help you? So when I talk to sellers, I tell them it's a partnership.
Very
We're in a
good.
partnership, and I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and I need you to work with me to get to.
It's partnership and multiple teamworks. It's the real estate agents on both sides,
Yeah, left
right?
hand, right
It's
hand,
the
yep.
lenders, it's the appraisers, it's the folks that help you with the marketing, the attorneys or the closing companies that are like Closure Title. That's part of it.
Absolutely,
on that end
and
of
you
it.
have to be nice, and try to work with each other.
I have a vetted list, of vendors and different attorneys, and just to get from start to finish. I always say, step one is going under contract after it's listed and everything.
That's the easy part.
That's step one. That's right. Now we go to work. So,
Literally had that conversation the weekend with the two contracts. Okay, guys, now's the easy part's over. Now the hard part
Yeah.
is to get to close it and
And the
move
appraisal
forward.
is a huge thing, especially now.
Are they appraising the homes? Is it
Most
all
of them
put together?
are.
Yeah.
I've had very good success with appraisers,
You
with
too?
the properties.
I have, and I've also seen that there's appraisal waivers that are going right
Yeah.
now, and lenders. And I even asked a lender and called up and said, "Give me more information about what an appraisal waiver is." And
So
they were saying,
explain that. What is an appraisal
just
waiver?
that the buyer is either putting down enough, or the components, the components of the contract, that they're that well qualified that they can literally waive the appraisal, and it's one less hoop to jump through.
So that's exactly right. So what happens is the lender says if the buyer meets a certain fiscal criteria, they waive that.
I've also seen where if it's written into the contract, and a lot of times it's a conversation on the side, is do your people have the ability to bring more money to the table if it doesn't appraise?
Are you seeing a lot of that? Cash at closing?
Yeah.
Or that
Yeah.
it's negotiated up
It's-
front that if
yeah.
there's an appraisal gap,
They'll make
buyer
up the
is,
difference.
So the
or
two
part of the difference.
the two
Yeah.
we wrote this weekend literally had that in it. So it's so basically for those who are listening and watching. So if the appraisal is, and I'm just picking a random number, $5,000 short, the seller agrees. Excuse me, the purchaser agrees. Thank you for getting agrees to bring that $5,000 to the table, so it doesn't fall apart and the closing.
Because I had
moves
personally
forward.
bought something, and that was the one question the agent asked me. do you have the money to bring to the table if it doesn't appraise? And I said, yes, I do. And a lot of them will ask for proof of those funds.
Sure.
What's the largest delta you've seen at the closing table of cash brought to the table?
Ooh, good question.
I don't know. If it doesn't appraise, you mean?
Yeah, cash out of pocket on top.
I guess 10 to 15,000.
Yeah, I was going to say
Manageable.
between 15 and 20, but the sales price was, between list price to sales price was huge, a huge difference.
So what you're seeing is 95% financing as close to 100% because 3% is free money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what they're writing into the deals is that, well, if it doesn't appraise, I'll bring it in. I had one that was 50 grand short that they brought
That's
to
substantial.
they brought to
Yeah.
the table, but it was written in the deal in the front end of it.
That was a lower price point.
No, actually, it wasn't.
What was the price point on that?
It was north of 5. So, but what happened was they were financing 95% of it. So instead of putting down a 10 or 20% down, they held their cash, right? Because
Right.
their cash is making more money someplace else than it is, at 3%.
Going back to trusted advisor, I mean,
Yeah.
that absolutely a good lender that's really creative, that's really looking at what your current assets, liabilities, et cetera, and financial capabilities versus long term. Me being, I don't like to say I'm in the millennial standpoint, but I guess I am.
You are definitely a millennial.
All right. Well, where's that cutoff?
You're a millennial.
Well, actually,
I think it's 81 is the cutoff, 1981.
there's actually
You're younger than 1981. What are you, 86?
I'm
No, no, no,
86.
yeah.
I mean, I already knew that.
Anyway, I'm saying because my
I already knew
financial
that.
capabilities are going to be different and looking at different scope of things, but looking at the 5 to 10 year plan is going to be different than someone who's an empty nester or may want to downsize from a farm to the urban ring, if we will,
So
in the
it's
future.
interesting. The average folks are staying at home 10 years now. It used to be 5.
Yeah,
Used to be 5. I was
A long
gonna say
time
6.
ago, it was 8.
Yeah.
Now, I
So-
can see that.
So there's the millennials, much like the boomers, are broken into a younger and older. It's actually broken in half. The same thing with the boomers. I don't think they do it with the Gen Zs or the Xs. I don't think they split that up. So back on the appraisal end of it, I'm just curious. How does that work on a farm? So is it same as a regular?
Appraisals on the farms there obviously are no cookie cutter comps. And that's the challenge. That's what a good appraiser has to figure out. And typically, when you appraise something, they want to find something within that 10-mile radius of where you are. And sometimes they have to go out of the county.
I was going to say.
They have to
Yeah,
they have to go
sure.
to different counties to find something. It's very unique. It's the same thing as when I price a farm. I think you look at the general comps and you have that knowledge and gut feeling as to what something will bring, and you get that over time.
So is there a specific, oh God, I can speak English. Is there a specific designation, that's what I was trying to get out, for a farm?
You
from
can.
an appraiser
You-
perspective? From an appraiser's perspective?
As far as
So could it be any, like a regular residential? So I know in commercial,
yeah,
there's different designations.
There are
I
different.
was about to say, so you're not you're reaching into a different pool of appraisers?
appraisers,
That's
yeah.
the point I was trying to get to.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
for
are.
helping
You
me
are.
through that.
And as the realtor, it's our job to also help that appraiser.
That's exactly right.
So I always meet the appraiser at the farm so that they can get a good feel for what this farm has and what what the sellers have done for it. And I bring my own set of comps.
So last week we had an appraiser on set, and last Tuesday I believe it was, and we were actually talking through that. We had a loan officer with Scott Morris and Wendy Ellis, and talking about trying to do that. When you sit down, Katelyn, with your seller and you price, do you have the conversation about what appraised value might be and how do we navigate that? So what does that conversation look like?
It's definitely a part of the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and I always say, the appraiser is not going to go too far off the beaten path of the comps that I am finding. They can't come and pull something out of thin air about a comp. So here are our top, I always say 3. You can really narrow down, but let's say top 3 to 4. closest comps for their home. And the seller may say, wow, I was really hoping to get more. Sure, you could get more. Could we put a higher price tag? Absolutely. Could you probably expect to see multiple offers and a lot of interest? Yeah, but we want to be realistic in our list price, and we're going to go from there to see what the buyer wants to bring to us and what the buyer is going to essentially be as competitive as they feel comfortable.
So tomorrow we have Rachel Burns coming on. We're going to talk about AHIP, and part of what I'm trying to do the next couple of days is talk about how as real estate agents we give back, right? And you guys, I'd love to kind of pivot from real estate and talk about the awesome work about the Flavanna SPCA.
We do have a lot of questions coming in. We got to get to some of these comments.
Okay, I'm sorry, sir.
We're getting that thing from Friday again.
Got it. I can't remember that far back to Friday, but that's okay.
Neil Williamson says, if you take apartments out of the mix, and this is a follow-up for you, in Albemarle County since 2018, here are the new units that have come on the market. 2018, 663. 2019, 796. 2020, 502. And 2021, through the end of the second quarter, only 332.
Yeah, people are staying.
Essentially half in the past.
I mean, that is not very many. Kevin Higgins, for both you guys, what are your thoughts, Katelyn and Gerri, on the current price of building materials and how that may impact the purchase of a new home as a long-term investment? Do you see this taking a hit in coming years? When if materials drop and stabilize a little bit?
Good question. Take it away, Gerri.
As long as there's demand and it's a beautiful place to live, I don't see us going back to that big crash we had. I think values might stabilize down the road a bit, but it's pretty steady. And as far as I'm putting something under contract with a builder, and he puts in there that
To cover his tail.
To cover,
Yeah.
because they can't guarantee what the building costs are going to be. So it's not going to be a shock to the system like, an extra $300,000, but they want the buyers to be aware that there could be an increase. Because right now, the house that I have a client buying won't be ready until next summer, fall. So it's anybody's guess.
Yeah, I think the building materials, at least from what I've researched and understand, is that they're kind of starting to regroup a little bit in terms of getting
But there's
supply.
still a back.
That's
log.
right. So I'm actually contracted to buy a new construction property myself.
Congratulations.
Very exciting.
Whereabouts, can I ask?
South of town.
Cool.
Yeah,
Very
by
nice.
Wegmans. So, and they have said
Your mom's stopping grounds?
yes.
Very nice.
Yeah, only about
Very
2
nice.
miles from them, and so I am excited about the lot and the location. And the representatives have told me more than once. They were like, "We could have sold your lot 10 times over, and if I went to sell it today, they couldn't build it for what
You're paying.
today what I'm paying because
crazy.
when I contracted almost maybe 12 months ago, it was
Yeah, it's
a long
been a
time.
while.
Almost a year in January.
Do they have an escalator on cost of goods in your contract?
They do not.
Get out of town. So double applause
Very
for
good.
Katelyn on
I
that.
think they're changing that
Good
now.
night. You must be a realtor.
Yeah. So, and that's just, it's crazy with, even you go to Lowe's and I mean, the shelves are picked over. I mean, they just can't get them, certain supplies in. But just going back to what he was saying is how do we see it with new construction? For all points, I don't think that we are looking towards a crash. I think from research and projections that we're really just, we're in an upward, it's going to continue to be a seller's market for quite a while, or it's just going to take a breather a little bit where buyers are just getting frustrated coming off of the
Yeah.
summer market.
Got very frustrated buyers. Can't find anything. I've had so many times they'll say, what's it going to take to get this property?
Yeah. How many times do we have to strike out? And it's like, or they step up and they get even more competitive. It's like, okay, I've lost out twice. It's time to do this, and we really like this property. Or they can't
can't do
sink
it.
their hearts into a home until it's, they're kind of getting up to bat and they're hoping for the best. But
Yeah.
trusted advisor, back to trusted advisor to be
Yeah,
strategic.
well, I've had a
in
few
your
people that say, I'm
contracts.
taking a break. We're tired and I'm taking a break.
Or they're like, we're going to rent for a year and see what goes from there.
And I have one that decided to stay teaching for another year and see what next summer brings.
I
'cause
like
they
the
were going to
questions.
retire.
There's a ton of questions coming in here.
Keep
That's why I'm
them
trying to
coming.
acknowledge them. Michael Guthrie, hello and welcome to the show. He says he loves how these two women give back to the community. We'll get back to that philanthropy in a matter of moments. Paul MacArthur is watching, your colleague at Avenue. And Paul says if we do our job really well, our clients think it's easy work.
Yeah.
When we all know it's not easy. This is a very difficult profession. Paula Fraser Clark,
Yeah.
Gerri, as usual, real information delivered in a most helpful and realistic way. Clients are always family to you, and you will always take such good care of them. That's from Paula Clark for Gerri. Here's a good one for you guys. You have 6 different real estate firms on the show right now. So multiple folks are asking about the condo market and whether that's as competitive as single-family detached. So that's a question for you. And then this question's coming in from Spencer. He says, Gerri, ask Katelyn and Jerry's prediction for early next year and what they think the market is going to do. So first condo market, and then your predictions for
Condo
early next
market's
year.
very competitive, because a lot of people that have sold the bigger house or have sold the farm, now they want to try the go condo.
Downsize,
And
Simplify.
they don't want to do any of the maintenance. So, and I've got a few people looking, and it goes so quickly.
And we don't have a lot of inventory.
We don't have
Very
enough
little
inventory.
inventory on
If it
condos.
comes on, there's like 20 showings in the day.
Yeah, you're going to tack on an HOA fee, of course, in a condo or a condo fee. And for instance, on the Rio Road area, River Run is a mix of townhouses and condos, and that's around, the condos run around $247, $250 a month, but that includes your roof. You're calling
Right.
the HOA for exterior issues of your siding. It includes your trash, and it includes, these HOA condo fees sometimes they include part of your utilities.
Yeah, I have,
Jonas says, and make sure we identify that condo purchases may have different loan requirements from Jonas Smith.
Yes. Yeah.
yeah,
Thanks,
some
Fiona.
are harder to finance because there's more rentals in them. So
That's right. So they have to have a certain ratio of owner occupied
Occupancy.
versus tenant occupied.
Yeah, it's 51%.
And I know the one condo where I bought for my mother, it includes her water.
Yeah.
So,
How about the predictions for next year? Going in, why don't we just call it Q1 and Q2 of next year? I mean, we're basically in Q4 of this year. October 1's the start of that. So why don't we call it the next 3 quarters, your predictions? Katelyn, you want to start with that one?
Sure. I had to put Minnie down. She's getting heavy.
Now she's exploring over there.
she's looking for that treat.
That's right. Next year, I guess, so traditionally speaking, I guess, you usually see a little bit of an uptick in the fall. We're coming into fall. And going through the holidays, if tradition serves correctly moving forward, that we're going to see it just be as vibrant as we did last year going into the January.
I think it's just going to get more and more competitive as far as finding something for people.
So do we see a holiday slowdown?
So I love putting homes on the market around Christmas time.
Ditto.
It's your home is likely and looking
Clean.
good. It's
Yeah.
it's clean. It's decorated, and maybe people are home and they're getting things ready. And if you are gathering in groups safely, then you're having your home in.
And
in
there are
tip-top
people that
shape.
need to move. So it used to be that it got slow right after Thanksgiving until the middle of January, but things haven't slowed down.
I mean, weather has something to do with it too. If we have a fairly mild.
But typically, if in mid-January people are done with the holidays and they want to get back to, let's find our next home.
That's right.
The spring market has been coming earlier and earlier the
I was
last
gonna.
few
I was
years.
just gonna say too. Yep. I mean, February might be
And it's
our.
stopping later and later, right?
Are we
I mean,
still in the spring
I
market
feel-
now?
Aren't you
or-
still in the spring market?
Pretty sure we are.
It depends. I
so-
really think it depends on the property.
Broadband, right?
That's
We-
huge.
We consider that as a utility now, right?
Yeah.
So talk about broadband struggles at the
It's-
farm level.
And it's turned quite a few people away when they, I'm used to it. I'm used to the satellite because you take what you can get out in the country. That's one of, the downsides, but it's beautiful and you work around it. But there are quite a few people that can't do it due to their jobs. and since more and more people are working from home. But it seems like even for Fluvanna County, we're starting to, I have CenturyLink 20 meg. I'm so excited.
You'll see the broadband going down 29. If you've seen the construction, they're putting in broadband down towards Nelson County, and Nelson County
Needs it desperately.
and it's an on-fire market for a lot of different reasons.
Because it has Firefly.
Firefly.
It has changed that market to really bring it into light and be in a competitive market, and for various reasons of
It
having
just depends on
Airbnbs.
if you're
and
lucky enough to get the power company that will work with Firefly.
CVEC.
CVEC, yeah,
CVEC.
is wonderful.
Dominion's now doing it.
And I have quite a few people I know that do the Airbnb, and that's a huge thing for these people. They still have to be connected while they're visiting.
Here's an interesting question. There's a lot coming in. So why don't we, Michael says this, the market has already begun to slow down. Michael Guthrie, talking with title companies and attorneys, there are less contracts being processed as we speak. Mustache Dan Pettit of Real Estate 3 has got some questions for Gerri on farms. He says, are a lot of times, are the acres messed up on farm listings? Are they not accurate? He has that question for you. And he also asked the question for you, why do we not see farms in North Garden area come on the market? And then the last question was for Katelyn from Daniel Pettit, and he said, where do you go to find affordable rentals quickly for your clients? So that's for you. And then you, the listing question on the acres, and why are there no farms coming on the market in North Garden?
Typically, I think you can get the number of acres correct. I think a lot of people get confused as to, they don't tell enough about what the different acreage is on the different parcel. Are you looking at mostly wooded? Are you looking at mountain land as opposed to pasture land? And then you go to the value. I mean, open pasture land is usually more valuable than a mountain property, just because it takes a lot to get it to that pasture land. And it depends on what animals you have. You'll see some properties are depicted as hunt properties, just hunting, as opposed to farm. North Garden, it's kind of funny. People think it's far. Some people think it's far out of town.
Really?
Even though
It's pretty darn close.
the thing that's funny is I used to live at the bottom of Nelson County, and it was a 45-minute drive every day into town.
Is that Woodridge? No?
No,
Albemarle County Nelson line?
no, Nelson Amherst line
Okay.
is where I lived.
Gotcha.
And it was 45 minutes up, but there weren't at that time any stoplights. So it was just straight drive in.
On 29.
And now, on 29, and now you have one stoplight in Lovingston, and they're very proud of the Food Lion and everything there.
That's a cute little town.
It's cute. Livingston's cute. It tries. But North Garden to me is so close, yet you feel like you're way out in the country. And I've sold a bunch of stuff there over the years. It's just the perception.
And
I think some of it's the internet.
probably get one of the best pizzas in town.
It's
Absolutely.
that Dr.
Dr.
Hose
Ho.
is Dr. Hose is North Garden, and then Pippin Hill is right there across. So it's probably 12 to 15 miles south, something like that.
It's close.
It's
Yeah.
very close.
And it's an easy drive.
I'll tell you, I'd rather go down as far
I
as
would too.
I would
than
agree.
53 versus 29. All that. So I'm asked this question all the time, and since I've got you in front of me, I'd love to try to ask this question of you. Is there some sort of magic cutoff in price per acre on size of land? Right. So if I'm looking at 50 acres or 100 acres, is 100 acres equal the same price
No.
per acre? So talk a
As
little.
you get higher in the number of acres, the value per acre
Drops.
goes down significantly.
does.
So say a 400-acre farm is going to be 20, depending on what
X
kind
dollars.
of land, just say 2,500 an acre.
Sure.
Where a 50-acre farm could be up to 20,000 an acre.
And why is that?
I guess they feel that it's
It's kind of contrary to
yeah,
what
it
as
is.
one would think.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Yeah.
On that end of it.
But if you put it all in farm use, you get that
Taxes.
tax benefit.
How about this question from Brian? So you have 7 real estate firms on the show now. So this is from Brian. Katelyn, why don't you start with this one? What is it going to take for this to turn back to a buyer's market, or will we ever see a buyer's market in Charlottesville and Central Virginia again?
Gosh, the $1 million question. Geez, good question. And I think Dan had a question about
Oh, yeah,
rentals
rentals.
too, but we can
Yeah.
go back to that. To be honest, for it to turn,
Interest rates would have to go
I
significantly
have
up.
to believe that the stock market is going to have to do something really drastic. So, yeah, outside forces and other things to do in the market. Back to rentals, where do you find an affordable rental? In town or out of town? I don't do many rentals, so I would say call a trusted advisor.
Call Ally. They'll
Call
help you.
Allied,
Property
yeah,
Net.
call any that is in town that is really, you can start on Zillow, but yeah, in certain cases for my sellers, absolutely, like Gerri and I were saying earlier, you'll definitely be a part of the
So-
transaction with rentals, but
So let's do a little public
Local.
service for folks out there who are listening, and before we get to the SPCA, because we just had this happen to one of our listings the other day. They are cloning. Folks are cloning listings. They're putting them in Facebook
Right.
Market. They're putting
Yeah.
in
Craigslist.
Thank you,
Craigslist.
Craigslist.
Yeah, they've been doing that a long time.
Just a couple days ago, I had a 20-year-old young lady in tears wanting to, on one of our listings that she gave $2,000 to. So be very careful. Call a trusted advisor. Call an Ally Property, whatever other company on that end of it. Don't please do this on Facebook.
Or, I mean, let's also use the rule of common sense.
Yeah, that's exactly
If
right.
someone reaches out to you and says, you have to send the money immediately right
Yeah.
now, or you're going to lose this,
Yeah.
it's probably a scam.
I had that same conversation with this young lady.
It's common sense. I'm trying to be empathetic here, but this is common sense.
That's common sense.
Don't you think?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't give your credit card number out there,
Right.
anybody you don't know.
Scammers are getting smarter and smarter, so
They
I will
are.
give her credit. I'm sorry that I mean, really,
Yeah.
I've been
They're
there,
pretty good
but
too. I think some of them could be pretty.
yeah, they call or they
creative.
ask, oh, we want to send you, give me your cell phone number, and I'm going to send you a PIN number because I want to know, or I'll send you a number, whatever that is. They need as a login. They're trying to get into your PayPal. Don't
Yeah.
do that.
Right. And don't click links from various websites that are text messaged to you despite phony URLs. That's a good
Oh,
rule of thumb right
absolutely.
there
Yes.
for anybody watching this
So
program.
the advice I gave this young lady was to call Albemarle County Police and the cybercrime and report it. Was the best piece of advice I could give to the young lady.
There you go. Gerri, your question on coming back to a buyer's market. What is it going to take? Jonas says the market's going to need to be balanced before it can go back to a buyer's market. Do you think
Right.
we will see a buyer's market anytime in the next couple of years?
I don't.
I agree.
Neither do I.
No, I think the only time you're going to have a buyer have some sort of leverage is a property that's been out there for a couple of years, and maybe now the seller's starting to get, maybe we do need to drop the price, or maybe we will be negotiable. That's the only time I ever see anybody right now.
Well, I think everybody thinks if the interest rates start climbing a little bit, we'll get a little bit more inventory, we'll get a little bit more balance, but we're a long way from balance. We could just take a look at the numbers from the last week.
You have 'em.
That is just telling you that there's 30, 40 units went off and that came on, so.
Talked to a lender this morning, and it's under 3 still for a 30-year fixed.
Shocking.
Right around, yeah, it's free, affordable money, we'll just call that. And 15-year, gosh, you can possibly get below 2.
I just got an email notice this morning. They're coming out with a 20-year product.
A 20-year mortgage.
A 20-year
And
product.
tell them about the 40-year mortgage.
Well, we don't
Have you
want to
heard about
talk.
that?
We don't want to talk
No.
about that because we don't like them.
The 40-year mortgage now, I know.
I have a pre-qual letter right in my email right now for a 20-year mortgage on a piece of land.
And that they're tailoring them to millennials. They're tailoring this product to it. It's
Why is that?
Well, I haven't had a chance to agree. It just literally came in. This is something that the Biden administration is pushing a little bit. So I don't have a lot of details into it at the moment. So we're gonna bring back Scott and some trusted advisors to talk about that. But they're tailoring this product to the younger buyer at the 20-year number. So I'm just real curious on how that math is gonna map out a little bit
Translate,
because if prices keep on going up, you kind of want that loan to go out a little bit further so your monthly payment's a little bit more attractive. So depending on where one's at, we're getting close to the end. I really want to talk SPCA, but do we have any?
We do, but I mean, we have a ton. I don't
Okay.
think we're going to be able to get to. You guys, we should get a plug for the SPCA.
Yeah, that's Mrs. Smith said we will do that. So this
We
is
are
what
so
we're-
grateful for Mrs. Smith. Yes,
And
she
she's
is
watching.
she's our newest board member, and we do Zoom meetings once a month. We were
Or as
meeting
needed.
or as needed. Yep, exactly. We just had a great fundraiser, bazaar / bake sale slash craft fair in Fluvanna County. One of the biggest notions, you do not have to live in Fluvanna County. I do not live in Fluvanna County to be on the board. So we are putting in a plug for more board members.
Yes, we love more people to help us.
You need some money too.
Absolutely. We would so love to expand our facility. We had a generous donation last year that pushed us to get a couple major projects done. We had a Raise the Roof campaign that went on for our 30-year anniversary. Last year was 30 years that we've been doing this, but we can always use more. We really want to expand our isolation. Yes.
Yeah. It takes a lot to have an isolation center. It's entirely different heating, cooling, flooring, walls. I mean, just
ventilation.
And ventilation, right?
There's a lot of state requirements, so that's where it starts to get more and more expensive.
So how has COVID impacted the SPCA? Has more dogs and animals came in? And so what's the impact?
In the beginning, when COVID first hit, we immediately shut the shelter, closed the shelter down to people come to the public. And we had such wonderful people to support us and foster our animals so that these poor animals were in a home for a good part of the time.
Versus a cage, at the shelter.
So it was kind of, we had our employees were trying to figure out what to do. So there was a lot of maintenance that got done. But we can't thank those fosters enough. We're always looking for foster people too.
I think we have 70 plus cats right now in foster, so they are huge. We needed, when kitten season rolled around, we always need fosters for cats and dogs alike.
But right now, now that we're starting to open more, we're full. Dogs and cats.
Full of animals that need homes.
Doubled up in some cages.
And we've got a lot of people, other counties and other shelters that will help us. We've transported animals to many different places so that they have more opportunity. We are also the pound for Fluvanna, so we take in the strays, we take in the hardship cases as well as.
Our ACO is really, really great. I would
What's
go
an ACO?
Animal control officer. Yeah, so that they're out there and they are doing their job, because if they get a hint, a call.
That's a tough job.
It is.
It's a tough job. And it's a tough job working at the shelter.
Yeah.
I mean, it would break my heart to be there every day.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, is adoptions up, but since you're doubled up, I suspect.
They're getting adopted, but not as quickly.
Is it good?
Not as quickly as last year.
No.
That's for sure.
Right.
Because it was crazy last year.
Well, and we didn't have as many events that we could host, in-person events. Even at our bazaar that we just concluded, and it raised over $3,500, which was fantastic. But we didn't have any animals at that event, and we didn't do as many adoption events through COVID last year. So I think we may see, if they're outside and we can do that, we may see more coming up. But again, it's the bandwidth of all of our volunteers or our board members. We always need volunteers.
And if you don't want to be on the board, that's okay. We'd love to have you, but you can volunteer for it.
And donations too, right?
And donations.
So you can,
Michael, this is such a great comment. Is it Michael Shepker?
Shepker.
We received a kitten from Katelyn that we love. Noonan loves Wisconsin. Is he watching in Wisconsin?
I flew a 6-week-old kitten
To
last
Wisconsin?
weekend to Wisconsin. I don't know, can you zoom in on a photo? Probably
possibly.
not. Well, this kitten was adorable. It meowed the whole time on the flight, and I had to say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everybody sitting around me. And didn't like the cat carrier. I walked this little 6-week-old kitten through the airport. So yes, I did, and it's a little gray, adorable.
That was sweet.
I fostered him first, and my cousins, love them, fell in love with them, and I transported out of the state. That's not on my resume.
Yeah.
I was going to say, are you doing that now?
No.
You have the time to do that?
It's on your business card.
It's not on my business card.
I've transported to West Virginia.
West Virginia is
I've
impressive.
taken-
Wisconsin's halfway across the country.
Yeah.
We have amazing volunteers that transported, 14 crates of kittens and dogs up to Prince William County. That's
amazing.
a hike too. Yeah, we are so grateful.
And
so
I'm grateful for the people that take the dogs to Augusta County and cats to have them spayed and neutered. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be there early. I did it last week, and I took the afternoon shift because I'm better in the afternoon.
So we talked real estate, which was awesome, but I really wanted to let the world see and listen to how awesome you two ladies are on your volunteer work that you do. And
It's a labor of love, and
It is.
it's so rewarding to have these animals find good homes.
But it's important that many realtors, we volunteer quite a bit. Tomorrow we're going to have some AHIP in to talk with
I
Rachel.
volunteer for AHIP.
I did too.
And
Got my
so,
hands building.
and I
Very
just-
nice, Jerry. Good job.
And we give back, and I just want folks to understand that we give back. We're not all about
It's not all about
Stacking paper.
stacking paper. We're about giving back.
The deals are nice, though.
Deals
Yeah,
are
deals
nice.
are great.
But one of the beauty things about our business is that we're flexible in our time, and then we can give our time back to help those in need, animals, or my case, it's affordable housing. To give.
We were so
to give
grateful
back.
for our clients and being able to do what we do so that we have the time and the
Great
resources
answer.
to give back.
Perfect.
This is a really good question that we should get to. So there are a few all the questions are good, guys. Some are just a little better than others. This one right here. First, Gail Hutchinson's giving you some props. She's
Okay.
watching the program. I count 4 states on today's show. Darian Cochran has this question. Jerry, great show this morning. If the time permits, can you ask the lovely ladies, Katelyn and Gerri, the differences they see with working with a local realtor on the other side of a transaction versus a realtor who isn't part of our MLS?
Great question.
Great question.
We know the market better than somebody that comes from out. But if somebody brings my job is to get someone's home sold. So if an out-of-state or an out-of-area agent comes in, I'll walk them through the process and be nice to them. But as far as a client, we know the market better. We just do.
Yeah, it's
know.
frustrating when you see an out-of-town agent put a property on the market in the Charlottesville area, and the data may not be accurate. You know immediately because we've worked in this area, and we know, even if there's certain points of if there's property detail or community details or that
Right.
kind of thing. And it's not a big deal that we have to put a different type of lockbox on for an out-of-area agent to be able to open our doors. I mean, we
do
to be
it.
honest, I welcome out-of-area agents to show listings. It's a little bit frustrating on the flip when an out of the area or out of the Paragon MLS system agent puts a listing on and you're just thinking, gosh, we're the area experts and we've done this so many times that maybe
Well,
maybe
it's a
we should
similar
get-
conversation we had with the appraisers on last Tuesday. Some
Yeah.
out-of-area appraisers come in.
They don't know
They
those
don't
little
know the market.
microcosms of places like Somerset is unique. It's Orange County, but it's Somerset, and that commands a higher price. It just, you have to educate them and explain in a nice way.
So, ladies, you're coming back. We just don't know when because we're continuing this Monday market monitor for the foreseeable future. So please, we'll touch base. We'll get you on your ladies' calendars because I can tell by how fast Jerry's fingers are
I
moving.
mean, we didn't even get to.
We got a
handful of questions.
ton of questions. So we'll archive the questions and we'll save them for a future show.
Absolutely.
on
Happy
that
to be
end.
here.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
My pleasure. I couldn't think
great.
of two better young ladies to talk about these two topics.
Thank
And the
you.
SPCA.
That's right.
And the
You can always
SPCA?
donate, fspca.org, and there's links on there to donate, and time or your resources,
She's
monetary
napping.
or donations.
Where's Minnie?
Napping.
Minnie is asleep on the floor. Should we bring her back
Yeah,
up to say bye?
please. For the closing shot, Katelyn.
Sure.
Hey, Minnie.
Of course. She's like, you woke me up from a nap.
So how did Minnie feel about that whole cat traveling? Or did you have a conversation with her?
Minnie didn't go with me, so it was just the cat. But
Got
she doesn't care about fosters. She is not up for adoption. But she does not care about cats. She kind of just thinks that they're. She's like, well, my mom has another foster that she brought in. But that foster actually didn't get along. Didn't like the other foster that I had that might be a foster fail now.
Oh, is that the kitten?
The kitten, yes,
that the
very
kitten?
cute.
Foster fail, you're keeping the kitten.
I
Yeah.
am keeping
Yeah.
one of the kittens, not Noonan, the gray one that I took to Wisconsin. But
yeah.
I've fostered so many cats, kittens,
That's
whatever.
What,
and
I don't foster a lot. I don't have always the friendliest and of.
Well, you have 16 animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
think you're good.
But
I think you're
I
good.
definitely would be a foster
Minnie and I
failure.
had
You
room
come
for
to
one or
my
two
house,
more.
you get to stay forever.
You have sheep, guys, sheep.
Our
I have
cat-
sheep.
So
I know
cool.
you do.
I love my sheep.
Two sheep.
Two sheep.
What are their names?
McGee and Stella.
Mickey and Stella the sheep.
Stella.
That's a
Stella
Russell
and
estate.
Stella's very loud.
Okay. What sound does a sheep make?
yeah, Jerry.
Seriously?
What does that sound? Yeah,
What
come
is
on.
the sound? Seriously, I have no idea. Is it bad?
It's bah.
Jerry Russell.
What do the goats sound like?
They're different. They have different. They're
So this is definitely sizzle reel time. Come on, keep it coming. We're going to cut that out. and
Yeah,
send it
Yona
out to
said
the-
don't forget about the goats.
I'm really into
Jerry.
this.
Yona said don't forget about the goats. Michael Guthrie
they're
said
more of a
agents need to be
meh, meh.
careful using the out-of-area contracts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, good
That's
point,
100%
Michael.
right.
I
If you have
always-
multiple agents responding, out-of-area contracts are different than ours.
They
Yep.
are, and you have to read them really carefully.
So we just did one this weekend where I made the local use our contract.
Yep.
Instead of-
Out of
you
area
can do
contract
that.
comes in.
You can do that, but
put it
if
on your own.
but if I get one, I read it.
Well, this was a
really.
multiple offer. I said if you want to be, you needed to use a local one.
Good show.
Yeah, I knew these two young ladies were knocking
Excellent.
out of the ballpark.
Thank you for
fun.
having us.
And the little puppy too.
Thank you. Two
Next
and a half.
time I'll have to bring a puppy.
Please.
I'll
do.
bring Millie. She's more friendly.
Could you bring a goat or who would be the best behaved farm animal?
Horses are the best behaved
Oh,
farm
well,
Yeah,
animals.
I
Fit
don't
'em
think
there.
that's happening. Pretty sure Gerri will make me draw the line at horses.
Dude, if you brought a goat to the show and just had the goat, would the goat sit next to you?
You'd have a better chance of having the sheep sit next to you.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
So a goat would just be.
The goats would try to
Frolicking.
eat everything.
Yeah.
They'd be right in your
Your
pocket.
equipment would go
I
away
don't
pretty
think we
quick.
need
Yeah,
to
you
you
talk
don't
about
want
those
that.
wires,
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, you don't want to do
Bad
that.
news. But I'll bring a puppy.
Please do. Please do.
That sounds
She
good.
is Jerry Russell, Katelyn Mancini, Keith Smith, Judah Whitcower is our director. My name is Jerry, and this is the Monday Market Monitor presented by Closure Title and Insurance Company and Ally Property Management. We will save the questions we didn't get to and probably bring them up tomorrow. What do you have on the show tomorrow?
So I have Rachel Burns tomorrow and AHIP. We can bring them up, and some of them I haven't seen them yet, but I'm sure Rachel will help us tackle.
I think
a few of
Rachel
them.
can help you with affordable housing.
Yeah, that's what we're bringing.
And house flipping.
That's what we're bringing.
Yes.
Yeah, she
bring
can
her.
help you with that too.
Doing great. Rachel, we can't wait to see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us, guys. We will see you at 12:30 for the I Love CVille show. Have a good morning. Take care.
Bye.
Well
Thank
done,
you.
ladies.
Very nicely done.
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Appreciate it.